Okay, so we've identified potentially some beliefs that we find limiting to ourselves. So I want you to take a moment right now, and if you need to pause the video, go ahead and pause the video. And I want you to ponder this for a minute. And I want you to at least come up with one or two beliefs that you currently hold that are not empowering and they're limiting you in some way. Okay? Welcome back. So now we're going to do an actual process, an exercise, a mental exercise that you're going to be able to utilize to start to establish new neuronal connections around a more empowering belief. And this is very exciting. The human brain is extremely plastic, as we've mentioned, and it establishes new neuronal connections daily. These intricate networks, however, need to be reinforced and consolidated through our behavior. So think of it like you're walking through a forest on a path. That path needs to continually be walked, otherwise it will be grown over and could eventually disappear. And that's just a simple way to think about those neuronal connections that we were talking about. Well, we want to get them to reconnect in a different, more powerful way. We're going to want to walk that path regularly. Repetition needs to happen even in the belief process. After identifying the beliefs and accepted behavior patterns that we agree that are not empowering you, then what you're going to want to do is this process here. And it's a really simple process. Over the next 5 to 7 days, I want you to catch yourself in the act. So if you have a limiting belief and you recognize that you just had that belief, you need to just acknowledge it and catch it. Stop instantly, acknowledge that and catch it. If it's a bad behavior, if you catch your hand going to your mouth and you have a nail biting issue, stop it, catch yourself doing it in the act. And what I want you to do is write that down on a notepad, what you did, what time of day it was, and what day it was. And you need to do that for the next 5 to 7 days. That's it. Now, if you can do that, you get to day 6 and then you didn't finish, you got to start over. It needs to be 5 to 7 days, you choose. And whatever that is, you go to the end. Okay? Let's be congruent. Go to the end of whatever you determine, 5 or 7 days, and write it down every day. Now, after you do that, you're going to have done something which is a neuro-linguistic programming process. It's going to create a pattern interrupt in this negative thought place or in this negative actual habit taking place. Then what I want you to do, in the moment that you catch yourself in this act, I want you to stop, write it down, and then I just want you to take and close your eyes, turned up as though you're looking at the inside of your eyelids. Take 3 deep breaths and focus your imagination on the replacing belief or the replacing habit or pattern that you are wanting to implement in its place. Now, it's critical that when creating this mental movie in your head, that you're doing it as though you already have this behavior or belief in place in the now. So it's not going to sound like you're creating this mental movie that, I'm learning to do this, or I see myself practicing to get to this. No, you see yourself being that already. Now, when you do, you have to do this with strong emotion, feeling, and all the sensory elements that you can muster. And these are NLP submodalities. So you see yourself acting out like this, or you see yourself thinking that new belief and the behavior that it does for you and what that positive outcome and effect is for you. And then I want you to just take literally 3 deep breaths, close your eyes, and clearly define that mental image. After that, I want you to finish with enthusiastic feelings of gratitude for yourself. I want you to have pride. I want you to feel personal power. I want you to feel success and happiness, self-value. And I want you to embellish those feelings for 1 more minute and a half at a minimum, 2 minutes if you've got the time, before going on. And I finish the whole thing with loving self-gratitude. Be proud of yourself that you're instigating this new change and that you caught yourself with the debilitating behavior that you don't want to hold on to, and that's how cool you are, because that is how cool you are. And that's the process. Now, here's the secret sauce, okay? The key element here is when you're replacing a physical action or a negative thought pattern or belief, it is that you have to activate your body's internal natural process for establishing experiences in the first place, and that's our senses. Now, please note I said body's internal natural processes, not just the brain and the mind. This is where you learn to change your state. You literally put your physiology in a different way. So if you're visualizing the success action that you want after you've just caught yourself in something that was not and was less than what you're trying to be, as soon as you get yourself visualizing and creating this image of your mind of who you are as this new person, it's very important that you engage your physiology in this space. And you want to feel the energy and the excitement and the power of being that person. And it is important to go overboard regarding these emotional feelings of excitement and gratitude and pride and self-love and enthusiasm and feelings of intelligence and feelings of success for my new behavior. It's really critical to go overboard and just love on yourself in that moment and just enjoy being cool in that place, because that's exactly how we created those other beliefs too, except not so empowering. So what we're doing is we're making those neuronal connections look to search out to a different way to connect to create that new behavior.